Today we are going to show you how to assemble the Mountfield MB 33D, one of their brush cutters. We're going to show you how to put the blade on, the trimming line head on, the handles, and how to start it. So we're Machinery Nation, let's assemble. Let's get it unboxed. So once you've got everything out of the box, this is what you should have. You should have your main brush cutter with your engine, your handlebars, and your gearbox on the end of it. And then you should have two heads. You should have the blade attachment and the streamliner attachment. The bottom guard to stop you getting the debris in your face, a fuel mixing bottle, a toolkit, some cable ties, and your harness. So first things first, let's see how to put on your trimming head. So the tool will arrive with the blade attachments on it. So you've got a left-handed nut there, so it's righty-loosey, lefty-tighty. So take that one and move that one out of the way. Take the cup out of the way and take the retainer out of the way. The important thing is to make sure you leave this retainer in there. It's the one with the splines on it. It's got a little hole in the side. So that one goes onto there like so, and that locks in place. The reason for that is there is a recess on here. So if we're putting the blade on, there is a recess for that hole to go into. So it's a 25.4mm hole, and that goes in there to lock that in place so you get a better even balance. So make sure you leave that one in place there. You can then take your blade and pop your blade on there, and then your retainer, and then your cup, and then your left-handed nut. So that one goes on there like so, lefty tighty. You then take your Allen key, and in behind you'll see a hole. So you pop your Allen key into the hole, making sure that's locked in place. There we are, so that's locked in now. With the Allen key in place, which locks everything together, you can then take your spanner that's supplied and do up that nut until it is tight. It's on a lock nut, so it's very unlikely to come undone. Just make sure that's done nice and tight in there. There we are. Only hand tight is absolutely fine with a spanner. And there we are, and that's your blade attachment all on, ready to go. And then to remove it, just undo the nut, righty-loosey. Take your nut off, out of the way, take your cup off, take your retainer off, and take your blade off. And now taking the retainer to be able to put the string line head on, put the retainer back on again, with the Allen key still in place. You can pop your head on, which is already threaded in the back, so it's got the thread in there. Pop that on there, and then again, lefty-tighty, down round, and there we are. Pull out your Allen key, and now that is your string line head on, ready to go. Now time for the guard. So just above the gearbox, you've got a nice little bracket here with two Allen bolts in. Slide the guard in underneath, and you've got two Allen bolts that you can screw down by hand as far as they'll go until they reach the nuts, and then you can do them up with the supplied Allen key. And there we are, nice and tight. Right, so now time to fix on the handlebars. So you've got this big screw here. If you undo that one all the way out, once undone, pull it out, pop it to one side. Your bracket will then come off. You've got a little spring underneath there, which shouldn't come out, but just watch out. And then it opens up like a clamshell on a little hinge. Have them, pop them down to one side. And your handlebars, you want to make sure that your lead, or the cable, which is your throttle cable, which controls the engine, comes on this side of the machine, so that it's not in the way. When you put the harness on, you're not getting this lead caught into your hook all the time. So you're pulling that round there, and you've got these two little serrated parts on the handle. You want to make sure that they're in the middle. You take the lower part of the bracket and pop that underneath, and then as you'll see on this hinge, you might want to get someone to help you because it can be quite fiddly. You've got the hinge, so you pop the hinge part of the shell back over, and that will grip everything all nicely together. So now once you've got that held, you can hold this on top. So you want to just wiggle it, leave a little wiggle until that's down flat, and then you have your bolt, and then push that all the way down through until you get a bind. You want to give that a little bit of a push to get it down, but once it's in there, you can start doing that up. Once you start feeling some resistance, ease off, don't do it too tight. You can then fold your handles up round so you can put them in the place where you want them to go. So once you trim it, you can adjust it. All this moves around for storage, and then once you're happy where that is, you can wind that right down nice and tight. And you want to make sure it is reasonably tight, obviously just by hand, but last thing you want to do is get any flex in this. You want it to be nice and solid so it's not moving anywhere. On your shaft, you've got these two cable tidies, and you've also got a cable holder back here. So first of all, put your cable in around behind that, and then you'll take one cable tidy, it will clip over the cable and then clip onto the machine, and that's designed to be able to move around. And the other cable tidy wants to go up here closer to the handlebars. Again, pop that over the cable, and then down over the shaft. That leaves complete freedom of your hook for your harness, which should be in on this side. Keeps it all out of the way, nice and tidy. So in the box you'll have found your measuring bottle. So I'm going to show you how to mix your two-stroke fuel. I've already put 500 ml of unleaded petrol into the container, and now we're going to add the oil. So as you can see, I filled up the measuring bottle with 500 ml of unleaded petrol, and this machine is a 40-to-1 mixture. So that's over on this side. So you've got the line there of 500 ml, and you've got the line over here of 40-to-1. So you now need to tip your oil in to meet that line. It's not a massive amount you need, and it's got to be as accurate as possible. So there we are. You can pop the lid back on again. And now with the lid firmly in place, don't shake the bottle to mix it, just tip it up one way, back the other, back up again, and down, and now it's ready to put into your machine. So how to start the Mountfield Brushcutter? First of all, you've got to make sure your on switch is on, I is on, O is off, so make sure that's in the on position. In under here, you'll have a priming bulb, so you need to prime that as many times until you get fuel in it, and then once you're full of fuel, press it 3 more times. And then your choke on the left here, you pull that choke up, so it's in the on position, so it's choke on, and then putting on your PPE, obviously, you're then ready to start. So now, once you're in that position, you can then pull the starter, holding a nice firm hand on the top of the engine, and then pulling it over with the other one until it fires, until it gives a little cough. So or start, and then pressing the throttle, choke is down, now the choke is off. And while that warms up, you can put your harness on. So when you put your harness on, just spend an extra couple of minutes just making sure it's all right, everything's in the right place, all the bits are tight where they should be tight. Because the last thing you want to be doing is bending over trying to strim. So make sure you spend a little more time putting the harness on. So on your harness you've got a little clip, you can unclip the clip and you can pop that onto your strimmer first, holding that up. And when you lift your strimmer, you can just clip your clip straight in and you're ready to go. Make sure your strimmer is in the right position to be able to strim it so it feels a little bit low, so I can pull that up so it's a little bit higher to make sure that your strimmer is at the right level. And you're ready to go strimming. So you now know how to assemble and start a Mountfield MB 33D Brushcutter. I hope this has helped. We're Machinery Nation. Please click subscribe and we'll see you in the next one.